Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nara and here we're discussing all things astrology and spirituality, and this video is about Virgo, Sun rising or Mercury in the first house. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. So, what is Virgo? Firstly, I want to cover the fact that it's an earth element along with Capricorn, Taurus, and obviously Virgo. However, all of the zodiac signs within a certain element, yeah, they may have common traits in personality or tendencies in their behavior. However, they're still very different because they're ruled by different planets and they have different modes, right? Which is fixed, cardinal, and mutable. So, I've covered Capricorn and Taurus. So Capricorn is a cardinal sign and is ruled by Saturn, where I want this, I got it, and I'm going to execute it right here and now, and I'm not going to listen to anybody. Okay, so that's the cardinal nature of Capricorn, where they come off very cold-hearted and sometimes very restrictive for other people, especially when it comes to their business or the material thing that they're trying to execute, right? When it comes to Taurus, it's a fixed mode of earth sign, right? So they're very fixed in their personality. It's not easy to change their stance. It's not easy to change their outlook on life, perceptions, and they want to like create the comfort, okay, on a big scale. Okay, comfort in their environment, okay, like where Tauruses feel like kings. However, when it comes to Virgo is an earth element. However, it's a mutable sign and it's ruled by Mercury. So Virgo's mutability and the fact that it's ruled by Mercury manifests very differently from other earth signs. So Virgo is not about creating big things on a material level, but rather than correcting the details that are related to those material things that the Capricorn and Taurus has executed, if that makes any sense. So the deals between people, you know, the contracts between people, so all is done by Virgo because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, but Virgo is not the only sign that is ruled by Mercury. Gemini is also ruled by Mercury. So I want to talk about Mercury planet a little bit and explain how it manifests in Gemini and how it manifests in Virgo, which is very different. So Mercury planet is a planet of communication, is a planet of mind, is the way we make perceptions, our attitude towards life, our assumptions of the reality we live in, okay? And it's also our, ability of learning and new stuff and stuff like that. So Mercury, according to the mythical story, was a god that pretty much did not have its own stance on life and his own beliefs, but rather would get a little bit from every god, other 12 gods, and construct a meaning for itself. And Mercury planet was very restless, and wherever you find your Mercury, in whatever house, that's the area of your life where you're gonna feel restless, okay? It's where your brain works so much, and that's the house where you will have the most curiosity and youth. You will never get bored from learning stuff in whatever area your Mercury is placed. So Mercury planet, since very early childhood, was kind of bored to stay in its cradle, and as a result escaped the cradle and started to learn new stuff from different people, from different gods and stuff like that. So that's the emphasis on Mercury's place when it comes to communication and mind, right? So that's Mercury. But when it comes to Gemini, Mercury manifests in learning everything, a little bit of everything, but not actually having an expertise in any area, but rather being expertise in everything a little bit, But when it comes to Virgo, Virgo wants to only learn a few things, let's say a few things, like 3 things, and excel in those areas, and then make a practical use and constructive use out of those areas, out of those skills that Virgo learned. Okay, so Virgo, Mercury manifests in Virgo as learning certain things and then putting them into practical use so that, Virgo can benefit because it's an earth element. However, for Gemini, Mercury manifests very, very differently. It just wants to learn everything, not always with a goal in mind, and not always trying to even use it constructively, whatever they're learned, or monetize it. They just want to learn. They're just hungry for knowledge. And that's why Geminis like to connect and communicate with people. They like to connect with new folks in order to get that new perspective on things, because their mind is so restless and it always pushes them to learn new stuff. But in Virgo, Mercury makes them just choose a few things and make a practical use out of those things once they excel in those things. Okay, and then Mercury is also making Virgos restless, but not in regarding learning new stuff, but rather, how can I put it? But rather like being analytical, like analyzing things on the spot. Like whatever happened, Virgo is already analyzing it in the mind. And this is not something they are consciously doing. It's something that is unconscious, okay? Because Mercury is a conscious and unconscious parts of ourselves. And Mercury is usually how we make that bridge between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. But again, going back to Virgo, Virgo is mostly analytical and critical and rational. So whatever happens around Virgo, right, the restless nature of Mercury manifests in them as, immediately analyzing whatever they just saw. Whatever they read, it starts to criticize, like being critical, critical thinking. It's Virgo. It's like as soon as they read something, in the first paragraph, they're already analyzing that information about like, okay, how can I use this information? Should I use it here? Should I use it there? But when it comes to Gemini, there's like reading just for fun kind of thing. So that's the difference between Virgo and Gemini, even though they're ruled by the same planet. Okay, so Virgos are usually people who are, they're very practical, and they're very, very rational, and they're very calculative. Okay, so they know, they feel the things. They feel things that will happen. They are very good predictors, actually, Virgos are. They can feel things, whether, the realities are shifting or not. Very similar to Aquarians, but for them, it's mostly on a practical level, okay? Whereas Aquarians think of things that are not of this earth and nobody can relate to them, like Elon Musk, for instance. Virgos is no, like, okay, this is what I see is going on the physical plane, and I know why, because I've been paying such close attention, and usually Virgos pay very, very close attention. They're very detail oriented. They're the opposite of Pisces, okay? Because Pisces, they're in opposition, right? It's on the other side. So for Pisces is ruled by Neptune, which is a dream planet, right? And Pisces tends to be very unfocused. It's also a mutable sign, don't get me wrong, but it just gets lost in dreams and imagination. Sometimes they can't even focus on a task because of that dreamy nature. For instance, in Pisces, whenever a feeling arises, an emotion or a thought, but they're at work, so what they're gonna do, they're gonna stop whatever they're doing, and they will pay attention to that emotional state, feeling, or whatever thought popped up in their head, or whatever something said to them. They need to process it, and once they processed it, only then they'll get back to work. So that's the nature of Pisces. But it's very different from Virgo. Virgo is not dreamy at all. Virgo is not unfocused like Pisces at all, because Pisces is looking from above more so, right? And getting lost in those states, like godly states, because Pisces belongs to the 12th house, right? which is like spirituality, God, and dreams and such. But Virgo is completely different. It's detail oriented. It's, you know, if they start something, they will not dream or be swayed by their emotions or thoughts. They will get it done, and only then, you know, deal with whatever they have to deal with. So that's very different from Pisces. And they also are not the ones who will just leave the, like, stop doing the task in the middle of it. You know, they will finish everything they started. They're very detail oriented. They're not like, they're mostly, sometimes they get stuck in, you know, details rather than seeing a big picture. So see, we have, every zodiac sign has good and bad, you know, aspects to it, right? So Pisces only sees from above, doesn't see the details, which is good and bad sometimes, right? Because you can overlook many things. But Virgo is, you know, good with details, but if they're not careful, they can completely disregard and overlook the bigger picture and not see, you know, certain things coming. So that's something to keep in mind for Virgos. But Virgo, you know, is meant for, you know, contracts, bringing people together, you know, do like the paperwork, the details, and all of that. That was created by Capricorns and Tauruses, and Virgo is here to do the logistics of it, if that makes any sense. So that's Virgo, very calculative. They're good accountants, they're good with money, their mind is very sharp. Okay, so I'm very excited about Virgo because I have Venus in Virgo in the 12th house. It's a weird placement, really. Okay, so another thing I wanted to talk about is the mutability of Virgo. So Virgos are very, very good with changing their approaches to life. They're not as fixed as Taurus in their beliefs, and even Capricorn, you know, I know Capricorn is cardinal. Capricorn is the least cardinal out of all cardinal signs, and it's mostly, it resembles a fixed sign within a cardinal sign, if that makes any sense. So, but Taurus and Capricorns, they're not quick to change their minds. They're not quick to blend in with the environment. They're not quick into, like, you know, based on circumstances, changing their approach. No, they're not good at that. They're actually, that's when they, you know, hit the rock bottom, the Capricorns and Tauruses. When the circumstances change, it's really, really hard for them to change themselves with the circumstances, which is not the case for Virgo. Virgo's mutability makes it blend in with whatever. You know, it makes them very, very, you know, easy to get along with people, to get along with different circumstances, even if it's hard, even if it's negative circumstances, even if it's like challenging circumstances. Virgos are very, very great to blend in and make a use out of whatever, honestly, they're faced with. So that's the beauty of Virgo. Virgos, they're very good with like detail stuff, like I said, and they're mostly like, they love like fixing stuff around the house, like putting stuff together, or redecorating, or changing furniture, or, you know, moving furniture to different spots, you know, refurbishing in a way, you know, like a detail oriented, like getting your wardrobe, you know, in order, the laundry in order, you know, like your toiletries in order. So all of that stuff is related to Virgo. And my Virgo is in the 12th house, and I love putting stuff in order in my house. So that's one thing about Virgo. And then also, let's talk about the first house people, the rising or Mercury in the first. So if you're a Virgo rising, you probably are tanned, like not like pale, but actually more tan than other people. And then these people look, they're not fat and they're not skinny. They're like normal weight, usually a little bit hefty, not like too heavy, but just a little bit, you know, like compact. They have like very like prominent eyes that constantly like run around, and eyes are very reactive. So if you have Virgo rising family member or your friend or somebody you know, pay attention to their eyes when you're talking to them. You will observe that they, you know, whatever you say, even if you haven't finished the sentence, they will already like react to what you said with their eyes, because that's their critical thinking, right? And they're very critical if you are criticizing them. They will actually be judgmental of you if you criticize them. And even if you don't criticize them, they will still be judgmental of you, you know? Because let's say if a Virgo is all put together, clean, looking nice, you know, like fresh laundry clothes and everything, and they go out and they see somebody who's like has, you know, food stains all over their, you know, shirt, Virgo might not say anything, but like in their head, they will be judging you because you're not like them. That's how it manifests in me. But mine is 12th house. Yes, I do judge people when they're not looking presentable. I do judge people when they're putting their robes on the live. I do judge people when they put their robes on like YouTube videos, because that I say this because I'm a social media creator, and yeah, that's my job. And I catch myself constantly, you know, whenever I see people like not being presentable, and you know, it's their job, and you know, they're putting a robe on, or not even, you know, trying to look presentable. I'm like, really? This is your job, and just because you work from home doesn't mean that you should be appearing this way. That's a Virgo in me. So in you, it might be differently. You know, if you're doing some other job, maybe you're judging your coworkers constantly because they don't put enough effort the way you do, or something like that. So Virgos are constantly like watching others, what they're doing, and if they're not like them, that's when they become critical and judgmental of those people. All right, they also are very objective in the way they perceive the world, and this mutability allows them to change their perceptions easily and to change their attitudes easily, which will make your life so much easier and happier, because it all comes down to our attitudes. I know that life is hard and circumstances sometimes are not favorable for us, but if you know how to change your mind and attitudes as a Virgo, then that's going to be really, really great for you. Okay, and these people also rising, Virgo rising, are very like humble people. They're not like Aries or Leo rising. It's like, hey, hello, you know. No, it's mostly like, oh, very like not communicative with everybody, looking very serious, kind of humble, you know, focused on their work primarily, not about like chatters or expressing themselves, but rather like expressing themselves in the work that they do, not as me expression when it comes to Leo or Aries, like me, right? But Virgo is completely different. No, let me be behind the scenes, get it done, put my effort into work, and I don't want to be seen even. So that's Virgos. They don't like to be seen by other people, but they're very, very practical, and their mind is very sharp. Like Virgo energy, I love Virgo. I really do. For work, it's the best, you guys. And plus we had full moon in Virgo, which was really, really great for me to kind of, you know, rebalance my energies and, you know, direct my attention and my energy onto work. And that's when I was able to really stay focused. So Virgo's energy is really, really great for work. And yeah, so also if you have Mercury in the first house, or if your rulership planet is somewhere else, you know, those houses will be interchangeable. So if you have Mercury in the first, you might look very, very young, and you might be like 50 years old, but you'll still look young. So those people don't age as fast, and it's not seen in their appearance that they're older, you know, that their age. And usually people guess lower age when it comes to Mercury first house people. All right, so I think I've covered pretty much everything I wanted for this video, and please let me know in the comment section below if that resonated. If it didn't resonate, please let me know your interpretation and how it's playing out in your life, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, y'all.